Gatorade.
Water is good for you.
Gatorade is better.
No, it is not.
Water sucks. Gatorade is better.
H2O.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. We don't make it out of the studio very often, but when we do, we make it count and we make international news, and that's what we did today. Just by having a riot of a time in Alligator Alcatraz, which is where we just came from. I even got the little tourist memorabilia to prove it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't wear many hats, but this is one I will probably wear. We just left. President Trump was at Alligator Alcatraz, and we were invited to come and witness the president's visit to this historic location. It is the single newest, deadliest, most dangerous prison in all of America because it's right here in the middle of the Everglades. I mean, there's just nothing, right? But there was something going on the tarmac. This prison was built on an airport. Donald Trump landed on that airport, Air Force One, and we got a chance to ask President Trump a question right off the top. And I said, you know, if we only got one question, I got to make it something that Trump's going to love, and it's going to be about a dream that Trump's always had. In order to use alligator-infested waters, crocodile-infested waters, to prevent criminal aliens from coming into this country. And Donald Trump, he's been talking about this since 2018. He's been saying, hey, I want to use crocodiles. And Donald Trump said, this is not only a dream come true, but it's something I want to have happen in Texas. I want to bring in crocodiles from Africa to eat people. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. President, in 2018, you suggested putting alligators in the Rio Grande to prevent crossings in Texas. Is this a dream come true for you, sir?
Well, I was thinking about that, I must say. It was meant more as a joke, but the more I thought of it, the more I liked it, if you want to know the truth. And they were serious. They were actually crocodiles. They were crocodiles from Africa. They are a step beyond. But no, that was really meant as a joke, but a lot of people liked it. And a lot of people think we should do it, frankly.
Okay, so the next question I got to ask Trump was inside of a facility, and inside of one of the tents where they're going to be keeping the criminal aliens. And this is a question about CNN. CNN's been pushing a app that lets you track ICE movements. That's, of course, patently illegal. Donald Trump wanting to sound off on this. Secretary Newsom as well, saying what they've done might be illegal. Here we go.
The President and Madam Secretary, CNN yesterday pushed an app that lets you track where ICE agents are. Tom Homan was saying that perhaps CNN should be prosecuted for that. That's obstruction of law enforcement. Your response?
Yeah, we're working with the Department of Justice to see if we can prosecute them for that, because what they're doing is actively encouraging people to avoid law enforcement activities, operations, and we're going to actually go after them and prosecute them with a partnership of FAM if we can, because what they're doing we believe is illegal.
And they may be prosecuted also for having given false reports on the attack in Iran. They'll give totally false reports. It's totally obliterated, and our people have to be celebrated, not come home and say, what do you mean we didn't hit the target? We hit the target prison. You know, the pilots came home and they said we hit the target prison. So they may be very well prosecuted for that. What they did there we think is totally illegal.
Ooh, baby, and now we get to cooking. It said, what is the number one politician that's doing like the opposite of what Governor DeSantis and Donald Trump are doing here? And that would be Gavin Newsom. Obviously, he runs the single largest sanctuary state in the entire country. It's a nightmare. And of course, he's just been in a massive battle royale with Donald Trump. And so I said, tell me about Gavin Newsom. And Donald Trump went off. Here we go.
Proud of it.
Mr. President, Mr. Governor, what's your message to Governor Gavin Newsom inside of this facility?
Well, the first thing you should do is come here and learn something, because they don't do this. They don't know. They wouldn't know where to begin, and if they did it would cost them 100 times more. So I would say he should call the governor and Christie, and I'm sure you'd give him because his state is a disaster, and he doesn't do this.
Another amazing part of that exchange is Donald Trump saying, Joe Biden wanted me in here, that son of a bitch. Anyway, then we get to the roundtable part of the tour, and here we go. This is really important. Donald Trump did a massive roundtable, and I got a chance to ask him a question there, and my question was about Zoran Mandami. He's a communist who's trying to run Donald Trump's hometown. I've had a feeling the president would sound off on that. That's where we made all the news. All the questions actually made a little bit of news, but This one, that I'm going to put Zorhan Mandami in jail. He's a dirty communist. He might be illegal. Whew. Here we go.
Mr. President, your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zorhan Mandami, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zorhan Mandami?
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation. We send him money. We send him all the things that he needs to run a government. And by the way, they get about 3 times what you get, Ron. If you look at the per capita, Florida gets 1/3 of what New York gets in terms of the numbers. Why don't you give us those numbers?
Yeah, well,
Because that's what we should send him.
Yeah, well, like sometimes people say Florida gets more because they count Social Security recipients, but that's not money to the state. Those are seniors that live here. If they moved to North Carolina, you could count it there. So it has no interaction with the state government. They get more on the city and state governments than we get.
Right, substantially. We're going to be watching that very carefully, and a lot of people are saying he's here illegally. He's, we're going to look at everything, and ideally. He's going to turn out to be much less than a communist. But right now, he's a communist. That's not a socialist. I've always said, we will not have socialism in this country. In the speeches, I said, well, what? They skipped socialism. And you got a lot of them like that. And you see AOC, she's out there with her, bad IQ. She's out there ranting and raving about how wonderful he is. And look, so far he's winning. He still has a race to win, but so far he's winning, and he has an advantage as a Democrat in New York City. I was there a long time ago, and it was a long time since a Republican won the city, but you would think that a Republican would be able to win. Or you have a good independent running, Mayor Adams, who's a very good person. I helped him out a little bit. He had a problem, and he was unfairly hurt over this question. He made a statement to the effect that this is terrible. New York City can't have all these immigrants come in, and like he was indicted the following day. And I said, that was a phony indictment, and it was a phony indictment. That was a Biden indictment. I said, don't feel bad. I got indicted 5 times every time you opened your mouth. That was a bad group. That was a very dangerous group, I will tell you. These were not nice people. That was the only thing they could do. They had no policy. They had no skill. They had no anything. But they were very good at that. They were vicious, vicious, horrible people. Thank you very much.
As ever, it is our great honor to be able to do this. We do it for you. We'll take you along with us. It is our righteous mission to be able to provide for this channel, for the viewers of this channel, for this audience, this movement, truth and insight, and to be able to see what's happening in the country around them. So get ready for what we're going to do next, because we're going to have a full report from Alligator Alcatraz up on the channel soon. It'll show you inside and behind the scenes. It's going to be wild. Okay, so lock in for that. Anyway, that was our day. Making news with Trump. Wild times. Godspeed. See ya.